Hey guys, it's me, Living Dead Girl Melissa. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, please hit subscribe, show me some love. So yeah, I want to talk about mental health and disabilities, disorders, stuff like that. So yeah, why not just talk about it? And in this video, I want to talk about autism, autistic, things like that. Yep. Sorry if you hear the noise in the background. That's like the truck outside. Yeah. And I've been looking up online, like doing some research, trying to try my best to study more about autism, autistic, different types of mental health disorders and all that. And so I want to talk about it more. So yeah, what is autism? What autism is, what it's like being autistic, and the signs and symptoms, and the differences between boys or girls, men and women who have autism, and how hard it can be to notice, acknowledge it. Also known as ASD, basically Autism Spectrum Disorder. I like to write things in my notes, write them down, because by memory sometimes I can't remember words by memory sometimes. So when I write them down, it helps me. It's easier for me to read it out when I write it down in my notes. So yeah. Autism is not a disease. It's a developmental disability. ASD is usually more commonly diagnosed in boys. Some studies show that boys are 4 times more likely than girls to have ASD, which is Autism Spectrum Disorder. But new research suggests that it does appear differently in girls. Yeah. And therefore go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed to something entirely different. I always get though, hey, you don't look autistic, thing, but autism is a very it's an internal thing. It's not external. So you really can't look autistic. No one looks autistic. It's internal, not external. Yeah. Okay. Autism Spectrum Disorder, a developmental condition that is marked by social communication difficulties and repetitive behavior, but these studies were only from boys and lack of how it affects females, you know what I mean? Girls tend to be a lot better at noticing things, mimicking stuff, mimicking behavior from other people, watching them as they copycat is what I looked it up online. And I have watched some videos, different videos about autism, autistic, all that stuff. So yeah. So I wanted to dig more research into autism with girls, with women. And because I haven't found some, and I did. And I'm luckily I found some. Whew. And let's see. And females would work hard to appear completely normal, and in order to be properly diagnosed as a girl with ASD, you need to not just observe them, but also you should talk to them, about their personal experience with socializing. That's why high functioning girls always tend to be diagnosed much later on in life than when they're younger. The boys with autism don't seem to care to have friends or like socializing, like whatever, Oh, it's just boys, they have autism, so they, like, some boys that do have it, they don't seem to care. And that with girls, really do care and have the desire to make friends, to have a connection, to connect. And girls with ASD don't tend to have much repetitive behavior, such as boys do. That girls are too much, too intense about a certain subject, or way too sensitive. Females with ASD are more likely to fall victim of sexual exploitation, sexual assault, sexual abuse, abusive relationships. It may be hard to build a relationship, and because women like that strive for that love, for attention, even if that attention is not really good for them and not healthy. When people say, I could never tell you are autistic, to a person who is autistic, and they say, hey, I'm autistic, I have autism, kind of like that, and then when they meet someone and they will say that, the other person will be like, whoa, like, I had no idea, like, I couldn't even tell, I could never tell unless you would have told me. You seem so normal. And I say, that person would say, you don't live inside of my body, not in my skin. So you know how hard it is for that person, for me, or anyone else. Like, you don't know how hard that is to go through that on the daily, everyday, day by day life. Diagnosis can happen at any age, young or old or mature, like in your 20s. And autism does look different in girls than it does in boys. They may have some similarities, but mostly different symptoms and different autistic traits, basically. This part about autism, like when I was reading about it, like I felt like I was wondering, like, am I autistic? Cause I mean, I don't know. I could just ask my therapist and talk about things like that, because I want to talk more about autism, personality disorders, because there are things about me that I have noticed within myself, but I'm not so sure unless I talk to a professional about it. But a person to get diagnosed, sometimes people can get misdiagnosed and get the wrong diagnosis. Say, hey, oh my bad, you're not this, you're something else, And people could go to three or four different doctors or therapists to get the right diagnosis. Ever since I was younger, in school, getting through the IEP classes. IEP, it stands for Individualized Education Program, special ed for kids, special education, with learning disabilities such as math, reading, and writing. And I had that for years in school. And I have made a video, I think once or twice, about having a learning disability. Now, people have asked me, so what is your learning disability? And I'm just thinking, I don't know. No one has ever told me. Because based on what I do in classes, like tests, taking a test in class, I'm answering the questions and how I got them all wrong, or they're all messed up, or like they don't make sense. They put me in a room with other kids who learn different, and they try to help me, but it's like I hear you, but I don't hear you. Like it was not easy to understand that this can affect you even after high school. And once you're done high school or whatever, this can affect you throughout your life. Like, it depends. And it's not easy. No one has ever told me what type of learning disability that I had. I do know that I had a problem remembering the math problems and trying to solve them and spelling words and sounding them out. It was very difficult. I didn't understand. I couldn't understand how to tell time on a regular round clock, only digital, because that was easier for me. I don't know how to use money. I can't spend money. Money involves numbers, which I can't count them all. I don't know. It's difficult for me. They'd be like, oh, you've been in school for so long and you still don't know? I'm like, you do realize there are kids who are not advanced, right? You do realize there are kids who don't know at all. It's not easy for them. You're not in their shoes. You're not in their head, so you cannot possibly understand how they feel and what they go through on a daily basis, you know? Sorry. I get emotional because, like, you know, I always thought that there was something wrong with me. And bullying does happen all the time. I felt so alone, so broken. I always felt different. Always felt different. Everything that was so easy to someone else, so simple for other people, for everything they understood, they came to them so easily. Everything that it came so easy to them, for me, I couldn't even understand. I just couldn't understand. I couldn't grasp or do. Like, I have dealt with feelings of depression and thoughts of suicide, especially from a very young age. And the first time I thought about suicide, I was 10. I was 10 years old. I remembered 5th grade is the very first time I thought about suicide. At such a young age. From constant bullying for years. I've always been very quiet and a very shy girl in school. Very, very, very shy. Very timid. And always kept to herself. I always had poor eye contact with other people, only to ones I'm very familiar with, like my family, my mother, or like close friends. You know, just people that I feel comfortable with, and the area, the place I'm okay with. I barely ever socialize. I had a problem socializing with other kids or teens sometimes, but I did have a problem with that. I never socialized because I was afraid and too shy and scared to. Also, some people with autism can be very dependent of others. It can be a friend, a parent, etc. Some people that are autistic. Sorry, I repeat myself. Are autistic can be very dependent of other people. How autism is diagnosed. Doctors usually diagnose ASD in early childhood. However, because the symptoms and severity of the disorder vary greatly, the cause of the disorder has not yet been found, like the cause of it. Sometimes they may think that it's genetic. Autism Spectrum Disorder can often be difficult to diagnose. Now, I have read lots of stuff, like things like types of disorder, types of ASD, of Autism Spectrum Disorder, types of autism disorders, types of personality disorder. Like I found one which is DPD, Dependent Personality Disorder, and ASAD, which is Adult Separation Anxiety Disorder. Now, once I just learned more about that by myself, Because for me, it's like I had to keep reading things over and over till it gets in my head. But sometimes I forget things, and that happens. It's not easy for me to learn or study them because I had a problem studying because I didn't understand. And yes, having learning disabilities does affect you during your daily life, even after school. If you finish school, it still affects me. It's hard to just say how I feel or what's in my mind. Because people say, you can do it. I'm like, I really can't. Like, it terrifies me. And I have the very strong fear of abandonment. It's like I am dependent of people. Mostly the ones that are very, very close to me. And I don't want to be, but I can't help it. And I want to talk more about this. I want to talk more about autism, disorders, personality disorders, all that. Feeling alone, feeling dependent on other people, things like that. I am not independent. I'm not that smart. And I don't have it all together. Some people say to me, you're a strong person. I'm thinking, really? Do you really think that I'm a strong person? Like, it makes me glad to hear that, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm trying. But maybe I'm not trying hard enough. But anyway, like this video, get a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Love you all. All links down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Okay, my lovelies. Next time I want to talk about my personality, and how, like, it's hard to put into words. Basically, sometimes I would be mature, or sometimes I would be like childish. So I won't make a video about that. But my personal feelings, how that makes me feel, how the way my brain functions sometimes. So I want to talk about that one next time, maybe. I don't know. But like this video, big thumbs up, subscribe, links down below. Check out more of my storytime videos and my LGBTQ plus content. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time in the video. Okay, bye, unicorn. I love unicorns.